pursuit of truth requires rigorous examination.
But progress demands decisive action, not endless deliberation.
We must consider the implications of this new philosophy.
Indeed, it challenges our very understanding of the world. But if we consider the nature of virtue itself, it must be universal.
Universal, perhaps, but its application is surely shaped by circumstance and custom. You lack the wisdom to convict me of any crime. You don't understand the necessary conditions for democracy and are unlikely to for centuries. I'm tremendously excited to join your academy, Plato. I hope to make many contributions during my tenure here.
Thank you, Aristotle. I'm glad you've agreed to come to Athens from Macedonia to study and teach at our academy. I think Socrates would have been pleased with this academy, and even more so to see a philosopher and scholar of your stature here. It's my distinct honor. I know how you must miss Socrates, as death by hemlock was an awful end for an old, respected scholar of his standing.
He was obviously a deeply principled man to hold so courageously and firmly to his convictions in such an existential predicament. Nevertheless, future generations are sure to recognize this academy as an enlightened model for knowledge and information generation and transfer. I predict societies throughout the world will replicate this model and eventually expand it into a complete information ecosystem. You're right, Aristotle. In the future, I believe there will be many academies where scholars research and teach a wide variety of academic disciplines. And there are likely to be specialized academies that concentrate on specific disciplines and develop expertise in their unique subject matter. And no doubt there will be bookshops, exhibition centers, galleries, museums, and public libraries to propagate all of this knowledge. Each will be an intellectual extension of the academy and also an independent temple of learning for all humankind. Within these temples, each scholar and teacher will be credentialed, and all of their research and writing will be reviewed by a jury of their peers. This will ensure that everything published for wider distribution or for teaching in academies has been rigorously vetted.
With this, I think your academy has laid the foundation for the future. Now we must hope that future generations will continue this important work. I agree, Aristotle, but I'm concerned that other knowledge ecosystems may eventually emerge, and this will prove to be a significant challenge.
It's possible that they could migrate to the new ecosystem, but it's unclear to me how this new model would improve on the one we're developing here. Would citizens truly aspire to a new model when the state of knowledge within the temples of learning in our ecosystem is of such quality? The acquisition of knowledge within our Athenian academy and other temples of learning will require discipline, time, objectivity, and patience. There's great complexity and nuance one must master to fully understand the world and its history. Students in the academy will need to read a great deal.
Citizens will need to listen to debates and lectures while also learning through new methods yet to be developed that employ the technology of the age. These ways of learning are likely to be time-consuming, and so citizens may prefer to learn from new ecosystems if they seem less demanding.
Plato, surely you must agree that this seems like a positive development for the future of humankind and for democracy? Aristotle, I think many concepts and subjects citizens will need to understand in the future are likely to be quite complex and nuanced. Unfortunately, these concepts don't lend themselves well to simplistic or superficial narratives likely found in these informal networks.
Rather, they require formal, even rigorous pedagogical techniques before they can be properly understood. Mischievous characters with nefarious intent may also conclude that intellectually grounded narratives don't serve their underhanded purposes. Nonetheless, within our academy and model, credentialing and vetting of knowledge are essential to the ecosystem we're attempting to build. So, it's quite likely that an alternative, informal system may be highly desirable for those having malicious intent. Credentialing for those offering insights within the informal information ecosystems of the future will be non-existent, and this is dangerous.
The content they or their collaborators are presenting does not require any peer review, and so anyone can say anything they like without accountability.
It's abundantly clear, then, that such informal ecosystems have the potential to dangerously mislead and deceive society.
This is a worrisome future indeed, Plato, so we need to think carefully, because although the danger is clear, I don't know how we can prevent it. Socrates wasn't in favor of democracy because he felt it would lead to mayhem as the society constantly veered from one position to another.
He felt it would wreak havoc on a polity. His lack of support for Athenian democracy in the Peloponnesian War with Sparta led to his criminal conviction. Socrates believed a citizenry misinformed by an unregulated ecosystem would contribute to constant discord and mayhem in society.
This deeply worried the old philosopher, since democracy requires citizens have access to information prepared by credentialed individuals. My mentor worried that in informal ecosystems, lies would spread far more rapidly than truth, and this would have dangerous outcomes. Before the truth could be revealed, much damage would be done as good men perished and private property lay devastated and in ruin.
And not insignificantly, the nation would then be acutely vulnerable to invasion. All this because society often reacts to information so emotionally. They don't wait for the authorities to confirm whether the news is accurate or true. Soon, anarchy and vigilantism erupt and spread like wildfire. In such an alarming climate, authoritarianism can be seen as an alternative form of governance that can prevent anarchy and mob rule.
Democracy, Aristotle, is a delicate system that requires rational behavior, critical thinking, and truth, as well as evidence, facts, and objectivity. I don't believe these requirements can be met by virtual ecosystems. It will require rigorous ones, as we're building in our academy here in Athens. In the end, Aristotle, the lack of credentialing and vetting will lead to misinformation and deception. This is a dangerous pathology.
It is likely to undermine democratic societies. Nevertheless, I suspect that there will be episodes of this breakdown in the future. One day, Plato, if enough citizens are deluded by these informal information ecosystems, a dangerous demagogue will likely come to power.
Such a dangerously deranged and narcissistic demagogue will undermine and then dismantle that democracy from within.
In societies as advanced and technically sophisticated as future ones will likely be, such an event could presage a cataclysmic end for civilization.
Authoritarianism is inferior to democracy, so it's most undesirable, Aristotle. But with poor information, democracy will descend into authoritarianism. It may even descend into anarchy, mob rule, and vigilantism, and so we need to protect against these dangerous outcomes. The question is how?
Education is crucial. Citizens must be taught from a young age that information and knowledge must be acquired carefully and thoughtfully. They must understand that information and knowledge acquired from informal networks can often be severely tainted. They must be vigilant.
Citizens must learn to recognize the signs of misinformation and disinformation. They must understand the necessity for confirmation before circulation.
When citizens and societies understand these factors from a young age, they will be less vulnerable to demagoguery and naive populism.
Future societies must be taught to stay close to information and knowledge ecosystems like our Athenian model, and we must ensure they're accessible.
This must be inculcated from a young age and is our best hope, because otherwise the world will likely drift into totalitarianism. If citizens acquire information from reputable sources, then it will become valuable knowledge once they've had time to think and reflect.
Then, when they find themselves in a kinetic moment and need to apply their knowledge, they will have the best possible outcomes.
However, if their information comes from compromised or tainted sources, their knowledge will be corrupted and will lead to poor outcomes.
With increasing numbers of citizens relying on virtual and unverified information sources, the situation for society will be correspondingly precarious.
Sadly then, economic and socio-political outcomes across the society will erode. I hope for humankind's sake we can prevent this from happening.
We live in an age when books are so costly to produce that only the elite of society have access to the knowledge resident in them. Nevertheless, I fear an age in the future when books will be ubiquitous and accessible, but no one will care to read them. Thank you.
Regulate social media now! Stop AI bots! AI bots!
We stand at a crossroads, a moment of decision, a time for choosing. The path ahead is clear. We will not yield.